What happens when you're somebody with ADHD who craves novelty, high emotion, deep connection, and you fall in love with a narcissist? Let's just say it's an emotional storm that it is hard to leave and even harder to heal from. This video will make you understand why having an ADHD makes this type of relationship so difficult to resist and why the emotional cost is so high. And let's clarify something from the very beginning. It is more fair to say narcissistic tendencies because the label narcissist, it is overused by far. I draw the line between a narcissist and somebody who is just very selfish, self-centered, and manipulative based on two factors: empathy and remorse. A true narcissist lacks both. So regardless of how you call it, this video will resonate with you if you have ADHD and you used to or currently are dating somebody who displays narcissistic behavior. People with ADHD are actually often drawn to people with narcissistic traits, and you may not even realize those patterns. And if you're here because you've experienced this, please, first of all, remember you are not alone. It's unfortunately very common. And second of all, give yourself some grace because this is not just an intense, difficult relationship. It is quite traumatizing experience. If you have ADHD, you know everything about dopamine highs. You are naturally drawn to everything that gives you excitement, emotion, novelty, challenge. You just need something to regulate your dopamine because then you feel like you can function. And when you're high on dopamine, you don't even have to mask it anymore. You're just really doing well. How does a narcissist tap into this need? Well, narcissistic people provide for everything that your ADHD brain is craving for. Especially in the beginning of the relationship, the so-called love bombing. They give you everything. They're gonna shower you with love. They're gonna make you feel the center of the universe. They're gonna introduce you to their friends and family very quickly. They give you compliments all the time. And when you experience this for the first time, it's going to feel like a match made in heaven. But as the relationship progresses, you will eventually realize that it is indeed a deal with the devil, and you will always give so much more than you ever receive in this relationship. Here, Dr. Ramani, a clinical psychologist who is an expert on narcissistic relationships, has an opinion that I completely agree with. I don't always align with her views, but for narcissism, she's brilliant. And here's the good thing in all this situation. It is very likely that you will have to go through this experience with a narcissist just one time in your life. After such intense trauma, you kind of develop this sensor for the behavior, and next time when you experience, for example, love bombing, you will either get the ick or you feel really anxious. So as tough as it is now, chances are that if you survive it, you are not gonna put yourself through another similar relationship ever again. Back to your ADHD. So initially, a narcissistic relationship provides everything that your ADHD brain is craving for. And the constant adrenaline shots actually keep your dopamine stable, high and stable. Boredom, this is simply impossible in this moment. It will be fun, exciting, out of this world experience. But over time, you start noticing a pattern. Every time when you try to pull away, the narcissist will bring back the love bombing behavior. But every single time when this repeats, you start realizing how the gestures and the compliments are kind of generic. They really aren't about you, because a true narcissist does not care at all about you and will never spend the time and energy to get to know you. They want to be with you because as an ADHD person, you're actually quite fun to be around, especially when they get you high on dopamine. You're fun, you're creative, you're exciting. You give them love. ADHD people usually are givers. They're emotional. They are sensitive. This feeds the narcissistic ego so much. They don't have self-esteem. That's why they need you and your admiration to feel better about themselves. Unfortunately, by the time you realize this, you are in deeply. You have unwillingly unconsciously developed deep attachment to this person. So now you are emotionally invested and you're really hoping that those highs can become permanent. But of course, it's impossible. It's not actual love, right? So the narcissist will always withhold their love and affection for you at some point. And of course, your dopamine is gonna drop and it's gonna hurt, but you're hooked. Now you're just craving the highs over and over again. If you have ADHD, then it is very likely that you're a highly empathetic person with people-pleasing tendencies. And your ability to empathize deeply with people will become a weakness in the relationship with a narcissistic person, simply because they'll gladly use this to emotionally manipulate you. Narcissistic people really know how to spin their faults, no matter what they did, and later on how obvious it will be that they hurt you and the situation was total absurd. In the moment, you hardly be able to tell the reality from their own arguments because they'll have a lot of arguments always pointing at you. Your reaction will always be the problem. Your reaction will never be justified. Their behavior, no matter how hurtful it is, will always be justified, and it will be your problem for not understanding how true they are to behave the way they do. They have good reasons. Really, how dare you not see their reasons? And how dare you react to it? You never hear a narcissist to hold accountability for their behavior. And the only one time or situation when you hear an apology will be when they fear you may actually leave them. They need you, so they're gonna try to pull you back. And the apology will sound something like this: I have been misbehaved by my ex. There's always a crazy ex. Narcissistic people always put the blame on somebody else. So there's this crazy ex who hurt them so much, and now they are misbehaving because of this pain. And the way it will be presented to you likely will tap to your emotionality and empathetic self. So as weird as this may sound now, you actually feel responsible for healing that person, because if only you give them the love and the patience that they've never received, of course they will change and be this loving, perfect person that you see them potentially being. They just need a little trust and love and patience, and they'll be there. And while this could be good intentions that show your kindness and care for them, even in that case, you would have to set some boundaries, because obviously there is some problematic behavior, and even if you are to work it out together with them, you need to set some boundaries. But that's the next catch. A person with ADHD usually struggles to set boundaries. One of our worst skills is to set boundaries. I'll never make a video telling you, here it is how to set boundaries in your relationship, because I'm horrible at this. I don't know how to do it. Do you? But either way, even if you're really good at that, a narcissist is notorious for disrespecting boundaries. So they're really good at breaking boundaries. You're really bad at setting any. And this put together will make it impossible for you to ever feel even safe or at peace or understood, or there will be no corner at some point to hide while being in this relationship. And that is not even the worst. The worst thing, due to the social isolation, the emotional manipulation, the whole thing put together, and your ADHD brain making you very sensitive, emotional, and empathetic, eventually you may feel very guilty for your needs, including the need for boundaries. And the narcissist cannot empathize with your needs, no matter how much you scream, you cry, you show your pain to them, no matter what you do, how you express it. They cannot see it, they cannot give you empathy, and you're gonna feel alone, desperate, and confused. The irony of all this is that you are actually quite intuitive. People with ADHD are really good at feeling others' emotions. So you will feel this whole dissonance between what they're saying and what they're doing, and how you're supposed to feel love, because they do tell you that they love you and they give you a lot of superficial proof for that, but you feel absolutely unloved and alone. And you feel this dissonance, but it will be so difficult for you to point it. So eventually you're gonna feel quite crazy. And even if you haven't distanced yourself from your friends, at this point, it will be very difficult for you to explain what's happening. So you actually stop talking about your relationship and keep it all to yourself, because one, really difficult to explain. And two, there will be examples that you'll be actually embarrassed to share. The moment when you feel like something is too embarrassing to even share with your friends, let that be your alarm that something is really off. So why letting go is so hard when this relationship seems to be so difficult? Well, in short, it is difficult to let go because you have developed some emotional dependency on this person. They regulate your emotions. One word or gesture from their side and you're really high or really low. But no matter how difficult it is extremely necessary for you to get out of this, because they do not feel accountability and they will never, absolutely ever change their behavior. Whatever it is now, it will continue for as long as you are together. Can you really survive this for the rest of your life? And to elaborate a little bit on the emotional dependency, because some of you may think this is not gonna happen to me. Having ADHD means that you're prone to addiction. And the roller coaster of such experience, the highs and the lows, and just this whole breadcrumbing, every time when you pull away, you get just enough to be hooked up. Usually a very narcissistic behavior is to tell you, just wait a little bit more. There is this obstacle, this event, and once this is over or eliminated, they're gonna give you the world. Just around the corner is your happiness. So you cannot give up just now, so close to the heaven. They kind of make you feel like everything you wish for is completely possible. They give you a little bit of teaser, like a little bit of it with their crumbs, and you're hooked, and you believe that if you're just patient enough, you're gonna get everything else. It's waiting there. It's possible. It exists. It doesn't. But it takes a while to wake up from that addiction. And indeed, in order for you to break free from the cycle, first of all, you need to be really aware of the situation, which is actually really why I'm making this video. It's difficult to stay aware because you are absolutely delusional at some point due to their constant gaslighting and probably social isolation. And second, it takes bravery and courage to be able to get out. Very often, people with narcissistic tendencies become angry and even aggressive and violent the moment you try to leave them. So yeah, you have to be really strong and brave and to prioritize your mental health over those dopamine hits. I know they really feel differently. The love bombing from a narcissist will not compare to anything else. Yes, but those lows that they put you through will also not be present in any other relationship. So trust your intuition. Lean back to your friends, because the moment you leave the narcissist, you will experience withdrawal. Like you will feel like you're missing the drug. You need somebody, you need social support to keep you away from it. And finally, remember that dating a narcissist when you have ADHD is not just emotionally draining, it's destabilizing. It really shakes up your entire world, and it takes time to recover from this. The same way it's gonna take you time to recover from drug addiction, it's gonna take you time to recover from this. And because a lot of people with ADHD have also experienced childhood trauma, I believe that this video can also be helpful to you. Check it out if you like. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this was helpful and will give you a healthy reality check. Be brave, prioritize your mental health, and I'll see you in the next video.